Attorney Jason Lukasevic represents hundreds of former NFL players who are seeking concussion payouts.
So when people say there's an NFL settlement, and you would think that a settlement means people have gotten paid. That couldn't be further from the truth in this instance.
In recent years, the NFL has implemented a series of rule changes aimed at reducing the number of concussions and has expanded its disability plan to include coverage for neurocognitive impairment. Since the concussion settlement in 2017, the league has paid out more than $800 million to former players suffering cognitive impairment. But there remain about 1,500 concussion claims, about half of the total filed, in which players have been denied payouts.
The more players that are paid under this settlement becomes a data point for the NFL. The NFL does not want those numbers to be high. They don't want moms and dads to know the true incidence of what happens to people that play football and what their tendency or likelihood of developing a chronic brain damage over a period of time.
Even more troubling, the former players and their attorneys say, is that the settlement has been implemented in a way that makes it harder for black players, who for decades have made up the majority of the league, to get dementia payouts. To qualify for a payout, former players must prove that they've suffered from cognitive decline. But the testing is graded on a curve known as a race norm. And under those race norms, black players are assumed to have lower intelligence than white players, meaning that a black player has to prove a greater amount of cognitive decline in order to get the same payout as a white player.
And that is the exact reason why these African American former players are not qualifying for these awards.
Because the NFL is assuming as a premise that they are dumber than their white colleagues.
Yes, not only them, the entire system that approved this, everybody that is grading this and looking through these claims, yes, they are all assuming that and applying that playbook.
It seems pretty explicitly racist.
Absolutely. There's no other way to explain it. It's a violation of somebody's civil rights.
In Clarence Love's case, the NFL argued in its appeal that his test results were, quote, insufficient to establish a diagnosis because he hadn't scored low enough on the test. After learning about what's known as race norming, Love's attorney decided to have his test rescored. The results showed that had he not been graded on a curve based on his race, Love would have been eligible for a payout. Do you get mad that you didn't know about some of what could happen to you playing this sport?
Hell yeah. I get angry about it. Then to have it hidden from us is even worse. And what's worse than that is what we're finding out now is that the race norming thing, and it's unfair to be scored or judged different than your peers based on your color. It's like on the black athlete's part, it's like we gotta be dead or damn near dead to be paid out.
Last August, two former players, Green Bay Packer Najee Davenport and Pittsburgh Steeler Kevin Henry, filed a lawsuit alleging that the NFL had been avoiding paying out head injury claims based on a formula that, quote, explicitly and deliberately discriminates on the basis of race. A judge dismissed the case, but directed the former players and the league to a mediation to resolve the issue.